Today I'm going to show several types of pin curls. I'm going to put a little gel on her hair to make her hair a little more pliable, easy to work with. And pin curls really aren't used too much anymore in the sense of just being pin curls, but they were very popular back in the 30s and 40s to add curled hair. Some people still do them today. Mostly though, you'll use the concepts of it when you do updos and things like that, but she's got a little bit of cholesterol in her hair. That's the white stuff left over from another application of something. Okay, so one type of pin curl are triangular pin curls, and these are good to use in the top front hairline. And basically what you do is you have the wide part of the triangle towards the scalp on the first one, and then you put the pointy end towards the back. So if you look at this, it's basically a triangle. It's a little not quite a normal triangle just because of the way of her hairline, but the concept is thick here, thin here. And then I'm going to do what's called ribboning the strand. I'm just going to take my comb and my fingers, just kind of taper the ends, and then roll them downward. And in this case, I'm going to do a stand-up curl. Stand-up curls are also called cascade curls. They just stand right up on the base. And I'm going to take a single prong clip and stick it right, kind of securing it right to the scalp, right in through the curl. Now the next one, I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to have the thick end of it back here and the thin end of it towards the front. So my triangle goes thick up here, then here. And by alternating that way, what happens is when you comb this out, you don't see splits as much as if you just did square pin curls all the way through. And again, just gonna roll that towards the scalp. And I'm going to make sure that my clip goes all the way down, touching the head. Kind of put it through that other one so that you're not knocking it over. Next one, thick part's going to be here, thin part's going to be back here for another triangle. Ribbon it at the ends. If you look on YouTube, you see some videos on this, like Rosie the Riveter type hairstyles of them using pin curls to get that look. Okay, so those are stand up. Put that one that way so it wouldn't interfere with the other ones. Stand up triangular pin curls, and you could do a row behind it. As I'm looking at this, put this back here. This time I'm going to start with the thin end in the front and the thick end. Now I'm going to do it opposite. Thick end here. Just trying to see where it makes more sense. Thin end back here. And I'll do another row. So the whole top of the head, when you all practice this, I want you to do, using these triangular base, stand up pin curls. Now you can also make your pin curls what we call semi-stand up, where they're half up and half down. That's where you want some volume, but not quite as much, because these stand-ups will give you lots of volume. Get my pin in there properly. You could also do flat pin curls, but usually on the top of the head, people want a little bit of volume. Okay, this next one I'm going to make thin, in the front, and the wide part of the triangle in the back. One more after this one, and that will complete the top set of triangular stand-up pin curls. And now the opposite, thick, and the front part to thin in the back part. And I got one little extra piece of hair. I'm just going to add that in there. is how you'll do the top of the head. We have 3 other types of pin curls. We're going to do 1 on each side and then 1 in the back. Okay, so for the side pin curls, we are good. A little bit more gel in there. We are going to do what are called square pin curls, and these are the most commonly used. The thing about square pin curls, you want to make them kind of like a bricklay fashion, so that you don't want to necessarily have rows of squares, because when you comb it out, you'll be able to see all those splits. So I'm going to do what's called a bricklay. I'll start with 1 square, and these ones I'm just going to have them lay down. I'm going to ribbon it. I'm going to roll it just like I did the top, but then I'm actually going to let that lay flat. And I don't want to pin through this whole pin curl, because when you comb it out, you would actually see a line in the hair. I'm just going to start by the base and just go halfway through it. If I were to put it here also, then you'd be able to see like an indentation in her hair. Behind that, just going to make another square. It's not a perfect square because I have a little bit of what was left from that triangle up there, but that's okay. It's as close as you can get it. Tuck those ends in. If your ends don't want to tuck, you can use a little bit of gel. I want to roll it the same direction. Put my pin in there. These are standing up a little bit, but for the most part, they're flat pin curls. More, but you'll actually go through and you'll do this entire side of her head with these flat pin curls, flat square base pin curls. Okay, I'm going to go on the other side. Now I'm going to do rectangular pin curls. And now on a person, you wouldn't necessarily do all these different types. I just want to show you how to do each type. So I'm going to take the whole section that I would, on the other side, I would take this whole section and do individual squares. I'd probably have about 9 pin curls. In this case, I'm only going to have about 4 pin curls. I'm taking a rectangular slice. And these pin curls, the square ones give you a lot of curl. These pin curls are going to give you more direction, where the hair goes back and then you have a curl. So I'm going to take it all back, ribbon those ends a little bit. Kind of have uneven hair right here. You're going to run into that. You just have to keep tucking those ends as you go. And I'm going to have that curl sit at the back of the rectangle. So that when you comb it out, you would have, the hair would swoop back and then there would be a curl at the end. She doesn't have a real even haircut on this side, so this one's going to be a challenge. And then I'm just going to, again, stick it halfway through. So I take a little bit of gel and smooth those ends that don't want to go in there. So like I said, you're probably going to have 4 on this side. I'll do 1 more, and then when you guys do it, you can do 2, probably 2 more, depends on how big you make these. And I'm facing these downward. You can face them upward if you want. Experiment a little bit, and then when you dry it and comb it out, you can see what these different curls will create. To be my most challenging side, just because of the way the ends are trying to lay. I like the way that's sitting. Just a little gel on my fingers, that will help. up when you're ribbing in it. Try to get those difficult ends in there. And if you try to keep your comb in your hand at all times, it'll help you get faster at all these things. I really wanted to set that comb down for a second, but I'm just going to tuck it in my fingers. And again, you can take a little bit of gel to get those ends to sit down. So you do 2 more of those. And then the last one's called the arc pin curl. These are my favorite. You really don't have to make a shape. You don't have to make a triangle, square, or rectangle. Basically what you do is you just kind of form the hair. I just kind of put my finger down and just comb it to one side. It's called a C shaping. Comb it to one side and then back towards the other way, just so you get like a little wave in the hair. And without disturbing that, you just pick up some hair. I want it to go this way to make a wave. Those ends in there. Hardest part of pin curls are getting the ends to behave. And you can see it just kind of makes a C shape. It's called an arc curl. And these are commonly used because you don't want to, it just kind of lets the hair flow the way you want it to go. So tendency would be to put the clip through the whole thing to hold those ends. I don't want to do that because I don't want to make a mark right here. So I'm just going to clip it right by the base. And if those ends aren't tucking in the way I want, I can always put a little bit of gel. And then I'm going to do the next one. Got my shaping right there. I don't want to mess that up, so I'll put my finger right there. Go this way though. And there are different types of curls. There's clockwise, there's counterclockwise. These are going counterclockwise. I'm going to do one more, and then because I want this hair, I kind of want it to do a little wave in the back, I'm going to do the opposite way with the next row. And I'll just keep alternating back and forth until I have them all done, all the way down. Even though we're learning pin curls kind of quickly, these are actually one of the hardest things for students to pick up how to do. Once you master these, other types of hairstyling become really easy. They're kind of the foundation. These and pin curls are the foundation for every other type of styling. Now I kind of want the hair to start waving the other way. It's kind of like making a finger wave with pin curls. I found a good finger waving video on YouTube, but I could not find a good pin curl one, so that's why I'm making this one. Okay, so now I want it to go the opposite way, so my curls are going to go this way now. Kind of in towards how I shaped the hair. Disturb that. The curls, it just kind of comes around. In this case, we have a backwards C. Make sure your clips go all the way to the scalp, or your curl won't hold. So I would do these all the way across. In my next row, I would start shaping like this one. I'd shape it this way, and then my curls would all go in that direction like this side. And then I'd have one more row at the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and finish these, but I'm not going to make you watch the whole time, but I do want you to see, I want to dry it and let you see what it would look like when it's combed out. Okay, here are my finished pin curls. We have squares on the side. We have triangular stand-ups on the top. Those are 4 rectangulars. have dried my pin curl set. I've taken out the pin curls. I had to wait a little bit. The metal clips are super hot when you first take them out of the dryer. You actually want to protect on an actual person between the metal, where the metal sits on the head. You might want to put like a piece of cotton or a piece of neck strip there so it doesn't touch. I'm going to change to a comb out drape. So just a neck strip. A little more comfortable for the client. My Velcro's not working real well. There we go. Okay, so remember I had the triangular pin curls on the top. I had the squares on the sides. I had the rectangles here, and in the back I had the arc curls. So I'm just going to take this is my comb out brush. I'm going to brush everything out to see how it looks. The arc curls. I'm just trying to get a little bit of a wave effect back here. So after you do your set, you can brush it and just kind of play around with it and see how it wants to lay. Bit of volume up here where I had the triangular stand-up curls. The size of your curls will determine, I made pretty big curls so that I'd have more wave than actual curl. And then I had the rectangles on the side here. But you can see there's a lot more movement on this side. This is more curl over here. This is more movement and then a little bit of curl at the ends there. If you wanted to, you could tease it a little bit, especially where you can see separation. So maybe tease it at the base a little bit, get some volume. Kind of helps you direct the hair where you want it to go to. Anywhere where I see a little flat spot, just going to tease it a little bit. That is what a pin curl set looks like when you comb it out. After I tease, I just kind of smooth with the end of my comb a little bit. So you guys, when you do your pin curl set, you can play around with it afterwards and see how all those different types of pin curls you used affect how the set looks in the end.